Okay, friends, I got this question in response to my video on validating emotions, and I bet a lot of you have been in this exact situation. Joey asked, if my wife says she feels like I never help with the dishes, yet I pull out the chore chart and I've done the dishes 13 of 14 days in the last 2 weeks, what then? Joey, I totally understand how you'd want to defend yourself here. We've all been there. You've got the receipts. You know you're factually right, and it feels crazy to be accused of something you didn't even do. That instinct to pull out the evidence, completely normal. But here's what I've learned from working with couples over the last decade. There are two paths you can take in this moment, and the one that feels most natural is usually the one that keeps you stuck in the same frustrating pattern. Let me show you what I mean. Now, when your partner says, you never help around here, you do have two options. Option one, you can prosecute your case. Pull out the evidence. Actually, I did the dishes 13 out of 14 days. I have the data. You're factually wrong. Option two, you can get curious about what's really happening underneath that word never. And I think most of us default to option one because it feels like we're standing up for ourselves. But here's the thing, option one almost never gets you where you actually want to be, which is connection and understanding with your partner. So let's talk about why that is, and then I'll show you exactly what to say instead. Okay, so why doesn't the factual defense work? Well, when our partner says you never help, they're not making a factual claim about your dishwashing frequency. They're expressing an emotional experience. They're saying, I feel alone in this, or I feel unsupported. Now, when you come back with, actually, I did the dishes 13 out of 14 days, here's what your partner hears. Your feelings don't matter. The data matters. And I'm not bashing the desire to be factually accurate. That's a good instinct in many contexts. But in this moment, prosecuting your case does three things that actually keep you stuck. First, it escalates the conflict. Your partner now has to defend their emotional experience, which makes them double down. Well, it feels like you never help. Second, it completely misses what they're actually trying to communicate. They're reaching out, albeit clumsily, to say they need something from you. And third, it positions you as adversaries instead of teammates. You're now in a courtroom instead of a partnership. So that's the trap. Now let me show you the alternative. Here's what I want you to try instead. When your partner says, you never help around here, I want you to get curious. It doesn't mean you're saying they're right and you're wrong. You're not giving in. It simply means you're trying to understand what's going on with your partner. So here's what that sounds like. Wow, never? That sounds really frustrating. Help me understand. What's making you feel that way right now? Or, I hear you saying never. I want to understand what you're experiencing. Can you tell me more about that? You see what's happening there? You're not defending. You're not attacking. You're opening that door to the real conversation. And here's what happens. Your partner can tell you what's actually bothering them. Maybe they're overwhelmed at work and feeling unsupported in general. Maybe they did the dishes that one day and felt resentful about it. Maybe never is about something completely different than the dishes. And maybe your partner's still trying to figure that out in their own mind. We're not always 100% clear on what's going on inside here until we have a chance to work it out a little bit. Sometimes it leads us to say things that are not factually correct. But you'll never find out if you're busy prosecuting your case. Now, maybe you're thinking, Chris, this sounds like I'm just supposed to take the blame for something I didn't do. That's not fair. I hear you. I agree. And you're right. It wouldn't be fair if that's what I was saying, but it's not. Getting curious does not mean you never get to share your perspective. It just means you lead with understanding first. We slow things down and try to get past that initial statement of you never. So after you've gotten curious, after you've really listened to what your partner is experiencing, then you can share your side. But here's the key. You share it as information, not rebuttal. That sounds like this. I really appreciate your telling me that. I want you to know I have been trying to help out more. I actually did the dishes most nights this week. But it sounds like that's not landing for you. So help me understand what would feel more supportive. Do you see the difference there? You're acknowledging the facts without using them as a weapon. You're staying curious about the disconnect between your effort and their experience. Here's what I really want you to understand about this whole dynamic. When couples get stuck in the I did versus you never pattern, it's usually because both people are focused on being right instead of getting connected. And I get it. Being right feels important. It feels like if you don't defend yourself, you're letting your partner rewrite reality. But here's what I've seen over and over again. The people who are committed to winning the argument can lose that relationship. Because when you prioritize being factually correct over understanding your partner's emotional experience, you're sending a message that the relationship isn't safe for vulnerability. And that's what you never help really is. It's a vulnerable but clumsy attempt to say, I need you. So when you respond with curiosity instead of defense, you're doing something really powerful. You're saying your feelings matter more to me than winning this argument. That's what builds trust. That's what creates safety. That's what makes your partner feel like you're on the same team. Okay, here's what I want you to try. The next time your partner says something that feels factually inaccurate, whether it's you never help or you always do this or whatever, I want you to pause, take a breath, and make the choice. Instead of defending yourself, try this. Help me understand what you're experiencing right now. That's it. Just get curious. Will it feel uncomfortable? Probably. Will your brain want you to pull out all the evidence and make the case? Absolutely. But I'm here to tell you, this one shift can transform your conflicts. Because when you stop prosecuting your case and start getting curious about your partner's experience, you move from being adversaries to being allies. And that's probably what you both actually want. So to Joey, who posted the question, I hope this helps. I know it's hard when you feel falsely accused, but curiosity gets you so much further than playing defense. And for everyone watching, if this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. What's one thing your partner says that makes you want to defend yourself? I'd love to hear about it. Okay, friends, that's it for today. Thanks for being here. Until next time, be well.